CY Card Ladder is the most respected sports card analytics app on the market. We have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history. Easily find recent comps and get a better estimate what your cards are worth. CY Card Ladder is the most trusted and the most reliable sports card analytics app on the market. We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors. Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder, constantly innovating. Try it for free. CY Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data. Card Ladder. We're just getting started.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Yo.
There it is. All right. Back on the Phoenix soil.
Back. Does the camera look better? I got a new phone.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah, it looks good. Maybe you could go back to the fuzzier one, actually.
Why you like having yours look better by comparison?
You didn't switch over to iPhone, did you?
No. You guys saw it. I mean, I had it in Dallas.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just I always get the Pixel, Google Pixel, and I had the 5 and now I have the 7, so 2 years newer phone, better camera.
Nice. Did the old one break or anything, or just was time for the upgrade, huh?
Every 2 years I get a new phone.
Well, congrats. Okay. Welcome everybody to The Crossover. Today is Saturday, December 10th, and as is tradition, I'm trying to remember how we do this. It's been such a long time. I think we go with...
Is this a show? I thought you just called me. What is this?
No, there are people watching us right now.
Okay.
I think we do mail days first.
We should do announcements, but I don't have any.
Christina, do you have any announcements?
I don't think so.
She doesn't think so. I'm sure she'll make at least a few throughout the course of this show. And I have no announcements either. So let's get to mail days. I have a one-card mail day.
All right, you go first then.
Okay. My mail day comes courtesy of my homie's cards.
Nice.
It is the 2021 Optic Jokic Gold PSA 9 and numbered 4 of 10. So thank you, my homie's cards. And I have the Jazz Nuggets game on going down to the wire, even though the Jazz don't have Markkanen or Clarkson.
Why are they so tough? What is going on with that team?
I don't know. 538 predicted it.
Danny Ainge is like tearing his hair out, probably like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Okay, what about mail days for you?
All right, I got 3. One you will really like. I'll start with this one. I got this one about an hour ago. This is Todd Gurley Immaculate Rookie Ink insert 1 of 1 auto.
Oh, yeah.
This one was on eBay for a while, but the guy wouldn't budge on price. He sent it to auction, and I got it for about a fifth of the price of what he wanted.
You waited him out.
Always like to see that. Yeah, I mean, I'll wait it out if it's not like a card I need, you know?
Right.
2013 Chris Paul Gold Prism.
Saw that one in person.
PSA 10. What's the number? 10 of 10.
Nice.
And then, to outdo that one, I paid the same price for these 2 cards.
Oh, yeah, I know it's coming. The 2013 Mosaic Black. Yeah, let's go.
This is the 1 of 1. So, I was texting you about this. So, there's 2 1 of 1s from 2013. The black standard and then the black mosaic. And this is the only black mosaic that exists, right?
That's right. That's right.
Or as we like to call it for football, the black finite. It's basically the same pattern, right? Or is it
Yeah,
different?
it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like I like this better than the base black, so it's kind of neat to have the only basketball one.
It's because Panini likes football better than basketball, that they give the black finite exclusively to football, and they give basketball like 3 different ones.
And they make the Prism Silvers like harder to hit in football.
Yes, they do.
Was that optic gold like significantly cheaper than Prism Gold Jokic stuff?
Dude, that optic gold was 10% of what the Prism Gold would be.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's like a really fun little niche for collectors because I like optic gold about 80% as much, and it's 10% of the price.
Yeah, Optic Gold is sweet. Optic remains a great product year in and year out. On-card autographs. It's just a really great product. Love the golds. That's great. That's very nice mail days there, sir. All right, Christina, do you have any mail days you wanted to show? No. Okay. Let's get into some questions. We're going to start off a little bit light and then get into the spicier stuff so we can just ease our way back into this thing. It's been so long. It ain't exactly like riding a bike, you know?
So you ask questions, and then we answer them?
We'll try it.
Oof. It's been like 3 weeks, so.
It's been a while. A lot of things have happened, too.
We missed 2 weeks.
We missed 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. All right. First up is Long Island Sports Cards, who says, since not much has happened since the last crossover, maybe you guys could just talk only about collecting cards tonight. So it's always nice to get that little reminder of what our audience comes to us for, or at least some portion of it.
Shout out, Frank.
Shout out, Frank.
Yeah, I need that reminder every once in a while, too.
All right, so then let's do that. Let's go to a collector question. Mostly 90s basketball cards has a seasonal question.
Hi, David.
When is the socially appropriate window to post your end of the year card Christmas tree? And what is the ideal number of cards and configuration for the tree? And maybe just back up and tell us, what is a card Christmas tree and when did this start?
Well, I don't remember who started it or when it started exactly, but you basically just post a number of your cards in the shape of a tree. And I've seen all different shapes of that. Sometimes people put the base on there, you know, the trunk or whatever, and then people sometimes do different sizes. Some are huge, some are tiny. It really depends on your collection, what you want to do. But I usually post it on Christmas Day, I think. I've seen a couple out already. I think it's a little early, so let's hold on.
It's a little early. Yes, it is.
But I think any time between Christmas Eve and New Year's is probably acceptable.
Yeah, that's right. Wait until the actual day or the day before. That's when most people are going to be posting theirs. And let's not milk this thing. This isn't the month of December tree. This is the Christmas tree.
Christmas tree.
This count. Yeah, that's the window. The 24th, 25th.
So we're going to go get our Christmas tree on Christmas Eve.
You get okay, Christina makes the counterpoint, which is, but don't people actually get their Christmas trees well in advance of Christmas, which is a good point. Okay, but yeah, 24th, 25th until the first of the year, that's the window. Post away then. I say 10 cards. You know,
10.
Less is more. When I see a tree that has like 25 cards, I'm not zooming in to look. I'm sorry. I'm not. You know, so give me 10, 8, some in 8 to 10 range. Even though I know you guys have great PCs, maybe do 10 different trees. I don't know. But keep the tree itself small so I don't have to pinch and zoom my screen to see what cards are on your tree.
Can I do player trees?
Player trees, I like that.
Let's start that. Player trees.
Yep, that'll work. Go ahead, what, Christina?
I was going to say, you could start posting it November 1st or the day after Thanksgiving.
Christina wants trees for their November and December. All right, we've already moved on to the next one. Okay.
No, I decided I'm going to move on. You guys don't remember because it's been a while since we've had crossover. But I get to decide.
All right, let's go. Paper Street Sports Card says another collector softball question.
Oh, easy.
What is the more realistic or common hobby modus operandi? Saving cash to get ready to buy a grail, or pouncing on the grail as soon as it becomes available, and then dipping into your PC to sell stuff to scramble to cover the purchase?
Oof. I love the latter one. Even if you have to dip into savings accounts, 401ks, you got to do it. It's more fun that way. Then you get to like scramble and figure stuff out. It's more fun. Plus, the other one, every time I try to do the former, saving up and waiting, the timing just like never works out for me. It'll be like the card comes up in the middle of the saving, like it never just quite. So you always kind of got to be ready for the other one, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I think that's right. I thought you might have gone the other way, being such a logical guy. But you're right. That requires timing, you know.
Yeah.
And you can never know when the grail is going to become available. But the tricky part is selling to cover. What if you don't have the cash? You know, what if you need to sell the cards first to get that all desirable liquidity?
Well, you've tried this strategy where you'll offer whatever cards you have on that table in terms of that trade, and you'll offer like 20% over, you know, knowing that like they may not want to take the trade, but you kind of juice it with that.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Or, you know, not advocating this, but you buy the card and then you scramble to sell within the next 24 to 48 hours to come up with the cash.
Have you ever had this? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, have you ever had this scenario where you did somehow have some willpower and you were able to save up a decent amount of money, and then like nothing you really want comes up, so you're trying to like maybe force it a little bit, and you're like wanting to spend the money? Have you done that?
That's such a risk. Yeah, that happens. You have a little pile of cash maybe, and all of a sudden you're forcing it.
Yeah.
Forcing it. You're like, man, so many great cards out there. But that's not how you would act if you didn't have a little pile of money. Yeah. Yep, that's a risk as well. And then you end up with somebody you don't really want. And
that's kind of why I was also thinking I don't love the saving up thing all the time, because then it kind of puts you in that spot.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, you know, it's always been a hallmark of this hobby to buy and scramble to pay. You know, the auction house model is almost predicated on, you know, they give you a 2-week grace period.
Yeah.
Most of these auction houses to pay your invoice. Auction houses let you send cards in lieu of payment in many instances, but you only get like a 50% valuation on your cards. So you have to send twice as many cards, and then you have to wait for them to sell and hope the market goes well. But this is something that's actually built into the hobby, and I think it makes sense. I don't think anybody planned it that way, but it sort of developed that way, and it makes sense because of this reason. Because we're always trying to have a maxed out best collection possible, and we're only going to change it if there's like a way that we can clearly make it better, and then you got to scramble, then you got to live a little bit.
But we went through a pretty, I would say, easy phase for a lot of people to make this jump from cards to like the next big card, because stuff was like going up, so it was just kind of easy to float those cards and other cards. But now I feel like we're kind of coming back to where you kind of have to think about, how can I save money from my regular day job and buy cards, you know, as if they were, like side purchases, collectibles, kind of what they were meant to be, you know, several years ago. So that there might be more of a shift into that thinking. So we kind of get a mix of the two answers, but.
Yeah, I like that. That's very true. And that flows nicely into the next question. So this comes from Mike Pinkerton 50, who says, does all the negativity in the hobby need to stop? This is about fun. And here's where I hope this question goes, in addition to wherever Christina would like to take it. I hope this question gets to the observation you were sharing with me earlier this week, which is that our hobby had, this is how I read it, but you can correct it if it's wrong. The hobby had this little investment mania happiness phase, but now all those new people have been in for a few years and that mania has worn off. And we're kind of going back to our roots as a hobby, which is skepticism, healthy amounts, maybe excesses of pessimism, and an overall disposition that just isn't rosy and happy and cheery, but instead is sort of curmudgeonly, and a point of view that almost seems to fit a collector of anything. So what do you think about this, Josh? Does all the negativity need to stop? Can you talk about that observation you shared with me?
Yeah, I came at that observation from the point of hobby businesses where during the mania, as you call it, which I like that term, the businesses were catering to the mania. And then now that the negativity is creeping in, a lot of businesses I'm seeing are kind of, just like writing off the reason that maybe their business isn't doing as well, as like, oh, there's too many haters, too much negativity, this stuff will wear off, those people will go away. And I'm actually saying we're going to keep seeing more of that because you're actually seeing more of this like standard collector personality. That's the type of person that you're having to now pitch to because that's what's left. That was kind of my thought. I'm seeing it kind of anecdotally. I obviously don't have any data on that, but I always thought the hobby was pretty negative. Like even when we first started, like Blowout, there's always been that level. And then over these last couple of years, it's been kind of overwhelmed by the sort of like up and right feelings, So I expect it to return, but Mike makes a really good point. We've always tried to focus on it being fun. So like it's a tough balance, and I feel like I struggle with that balance quite a bit. So it's a tough question.
Yeah. For me, I've always my baseline personality is a bit of a simpleton or a bit of a happy-go-lucky guy. I am one of the blue skies types of guys, I think, by predisposition. And so I was jarred a bit by the supply of negativity in the hobby when I first came in, especially coming from like the previous industry and culture that I was immersed in was entertainment and music, which like you almost have to be irrationally optimistic just to believe you have a chance to make it, right? So like that's the mindset that I'm coming from, is like you have to believe in yourself, you have to see the silver lining of things, etc. And then this hobby, to its credit, is very different than that. So, but what I learned, or the approach I developed to deal with this, is that embrace the extreme realism, let's call it. Embrace the hobby's extreme realism, embrace the skepticism. It serves a really useful functional role. It helps to counterbalance what otherwise would be absurdism in runaway, my cards are worth $1 bazillion, excessive lunacy that attaches to fields that have an investment component, which my previous lines of work did not. So that's what I quickly learned, is that it counterbalances. And then a lot of the pessimism and skepticism is a reaction to the off-putting, really offensive showboating, bragging, pumping, salesman-y garbage that exists in the industry as well. So it's just like an industry of extremes, and the one balances out the other. And I really like your point. I think even new people who came in during the investment mania who maybe were attracted because of these skyrocketing prices, and then they corrected or crashed and collapsed. And now those people, I think, just by the nature of our hobby, there's something about our hobby that leads all of us to become skeptical, which doesn't mean we don't enjoy the hobby. We still love the hobby, but it's the armor that we wear to endure some of the nonsense. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that. Like the way that you said it, the armor that we wear, you kind of have to just deal with it, right? You have to wear it. It's going to keep coming. Plus, like even like I said, internally, I struggle with this balance because My personality leads more on the pessimism side. I don't know if that's like an engineering and math thing. I'm not sure, but like I also internally struggle with it because when things are overly positive, I want to be negative, and when things are overly negative, I want to be positive. So like, not only do we have these two striking balancing sides
Yep.
amongst the hobby, but a lot of us have that internally where it's like, oh, things are too good. We should probably course correct and like calm down. Oh, things are getting really shitty. We should probably find some positive. So, you know, we can all do that in our own minds, anyways.
Love it. Okay. No, another topic that relates to observing hobby culture from Drake's PC. Who's back with a vengeance?
He's got a lot of built up.
Yeah. He had 3 hard-hitting questions for each of the weeks that we were missed. Well, we missed 2. All right, but anyway. Drake says...
Next 2 and then tonight, so there's
All
three
right,
questions.
got it. Okay, so Drake says, to expand on Cardboard Chronicles' story from earlier this week, some influencers really did turn into collectors, while others are simply posing as collectors. You have some influencers who really became collectors, I suppose, and others who are just posing because it's en vogue. So Drake wants to know, how do you tell the difference between these two?
Well, I posted that story and I didn't feel like super great about it because I knew it would kind of rub a lot of people the wrong way, which I didn't want necessarily. But I do want to clarify that I don't have any issues with like flipping and, you know, people that are selling to move forward. Like we ourselves have sold stuff to move up. There's all these different reasons why you buy and sell and flip and stuff. I have no problem with that. My problem is specifically with what Drake is talking about, where he's like, people are posing as collectors just to maybe like win a deal over, or, you know, try to move up some market that they say that they're passionate about just so they can dump it behind the scenes. That's the issue that I have, and I'm seeing some of that. Or the people that have been selling picks for years, and like those picks are starting to get clobbered, and now all of a sudden, you know, they're like, oh, instead of picks, like we should become collectors because now I'm getting, you know, it doesn't make any sense for me to brand myself with that anymore. So those kind of shifts are like specifically what bother me. So how do you figure it out? That's a tough one. That one feels like, you know, it's porn when you see it kind of thing. You know, like you just know it when you see it. It's really hard to describe specifically, but you know, it might be like what players you're picking up or like what kind of cards you're picking up. One of the hints I see is like when a specific subcategory is really hot, you'll see that person just like pick up tons of that stuff and they'll just talk about it endlessly. And everyone else is already talking about it. Like, oh, vintage is in right now, or 90s PMGs, that's what we should talk about. That's usually my big hint. Is like, okay, you're just sort of following the trend and trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah, Amit says, how do you figure out what's bullshit? It would be great if we could reduce it to a formula that Josh could give us in a 30-second pitch, and then we all can just have perfect bullshit detectors, but it's not quite that easy, is it?
Yeah, what do you think of the trend theory?
That when you see somebody who's just like picking up a bunch of cards of a hot player or set at the moment, that's probably somebody pose. If they also represent themselves as a collector, they decent chance they're posing.
Yeah, I mean, like we saw this happen a lot with like soccer and F1. It's like, oh, I've been this huge collector this whole time. I just didn't tell you guys, but now that it's popular and making money, time to come out with my public love of these different categories.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good factor to look at. It could be the case that somebody organically, naturally, just coincidentally that happens, right? That could be the case. There could be an F1 collector who's got those old Lewis Hamilton rookies and stuff who just like finally is having their moments.
Yeah.
But so it's not definitive. We don't want to say that, but it's a factor. It's definitely a factor. Now, what's the advantage gained by posing as a collector in these type of scenarios? Why do they do it?
I think it's a brand thing. Like you're trying to build up your following and your brand by appearing to be passionate about a certain thing. And then once you have that audience and brand built up, then you can start pitching them on other things. You can start pivoting over to fucking shoes. Like we've seen tons of this.
Yes, we have.
It's a large benefit, I think.
Yep. I think that is God. That's such a different topic. The old bait and switch. I've really just been cultivating a network of Michael Jordan collectors so I can dump this bucket of Tamagotchis I have here. Which are the investment properties on these are strong.
I would cut you out of my life if you started pumping some bullshit like that. Dude, get to this Zion thing from last night. You should guess my opinion because I've given it a couple times, but I would love to reiterate my opinion on this.
Okay, well we've ramped up nicely here. Now you're anticipating the windmill question. We are right back. We are right back to where we left off. All right, so
I got my blood pressure. My blood pressure's already up. Let's just keep it.
All right. Well, all right. So look, let's just do the windmill question. I can't find it on my list, but who cares? We all know what it is. Somebody wrote in the question, windmill. Discuss. Oh, it was Banger's car. I can't remember his username. But anyway, the windmill question. So should I predict? So basically, tell us what happened. Recap the windmill versus the Suns.
Yeah, so the Suns knocked the Pelicans out of the playoffs last year, so there's already a little bit of like a rivalry thing building up, and it was a really intense series. A lot of like stuff with Alvarado and CP3, a lot of bickering back and forth, so it was already building up a little bit, and then the Pelicans were taking it to the Suns, and then there was like 5 seconds left. CP3 actually started it a little bit. Like he drove in for a layup, and the game was already over. He missed it. Pelicans rebound, threw it down the court. Zion did a pretty nasty dunk contest style windmill dunk to just, rub it in their face a little bit.
Yep. Suns
players ran over, said they didn't like it too much. Willie Green got involved, who was a former assistant for the Suns, so there's already some like cross-pollination there. It was all right. Now you guess my opinion.
I think the way you lean with this is risky. It could go either way. I think the way you lean with this is that you don't give a shit, and that Zion doing this windmill dunk is partially a bleed over from the playoffs, partially shows that this guy's got an edge to him, and you like it. You like when players sort of DGAF.
Dude, I mean, you're like 75% right.
Okay. All right, I'll take that.
The other 25% is I root for drama. I don't care whose side I'm on of it. We watch sports for the organic drama, and if these guys all liked each other and there wasn't shit like this going on, we'd have nothing to talk about. We would just be simulating these games, right? We'd just be like, what team has the best percentage? Like, we'll just simulate the whole season. Celtics already win, right? Like, it's over.
The metaverse season?
The metaverse? No, I'm here for the drama, dude. And plus, those guys play each other again tomorrow night. So, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's good. No, it is good. It's good that these guys want to win so bad. It would be pretty easy to get a $200 million contract and just kind of, all right, a little bit of the edge goes away. But Zion is still windmill dunking on dudes. and knowing that it's going to ruffle feathers. He knew that. He absolutely knew that.
Well,
it was intentional.
I would be, as a Suns fan, I'm obviously hoping this like lights a fire under their ass, right, and like gets them a little bit pissed off and fired up. I want them to go at him all pissed off, but I also want Zion to do the dunk. I want both sides. Like I'm not taking a side of like, oh, you shouldn't. This is like an unwritten rule, or oh no, you shouldn't go at him. You got to stop. You got to be the guy that stops him. Don't let him do it. Like you can be pissed off on both sides. It's competition.
Nice. Yeah, you're right. That's fun. That's one of the things that makes sports fun and a little extra engaging. All right. Let's go to a follow-up to the influencer thing. Not really sure what was being said with this one. Maybe you can read between the lines or figure out what was being said. Creps and Cards writes in, let's discuss influencers complaining about influencers being influencers.
So is that me? Am I the influencer complaining about influencers?
Look, I kind of read it that way as well.
Sure, you can read it that way.
So, all right, well, let's discuss it. So, is it really just meaningless, pointless nonsense to have one influencer complain about another influencer doing influencing? Is it really just, it's all just, in other words, this question is sort of saying it's all just influencing. Maybe you like one form of influencing, maybe like another form of influencing, but it's all just the same thing. So let's not act like one version's better than the other.
I guess. I mean, by that logic, then like I wouldn't be able to complain about, a lot of people, or I wouldn't be able to like voice my opinion on a lot of topics if that's the category. Look, I just saw a lot of like stories, and like I'll be honest, I heard some other, competing products talking about how this year is like the year of the collector, and it's like, yeah, because your fucking picks have been dog shit the last 2 years, and your product is suffering because that's what you base everything off of. Now you got to shift, and you got to start pitching and selling people on collecting. That's what really kind of pissed me off. So I'm allowed to make my stories and post about what stuff that pisses me off. So every once in a while it reaches that point.
Yeah, it's a diversionary logical tactic to abstract away from something until it's so generic. So it's kind of like saying, what's the difference between basketball and football? It involves a ball and it's a sport. They're the same thing. They're the same thing, right? Same thing. That tactic doesn't fly. You are allowed to find nuance and distinction in between, things that have some similarities. You can still point out the differences. So, all right.
Well, one more thing. Rothscard just joined. Some people thought I was talking about him. I was not. I actually enjoy his content because, Josh has been pretty upfront with what he's doing. It's not like he's shifting over back and forth between investing, collecting. He's mostly doing the flipping stuff. That's his content, and I respect it. I was definitely not talking about him.
Got it. Okay, nice. All right. Now let's go back to something a little light before we get to the real bombshell that we have.
We got more bombshells?
Oh, this is the biggest bombshell we haven't hit yet.
Oh,
and I don't really want to hit this one either, by the way.
Oh, this is
you don't.
Yeah.
All right, don't spoil it. Just stay in. Yep, Amit's got it. All right. Iowa Dave says, if each of you, Christina, if each of you were required to make a 2023 New Year's hobby resolution, what would it be?
Christina, go first.
Yeah, Christina, and say it to the camera.
It's so annoying.
Hello, everybody. It's me.
Hi, guys. Hi, Josh.
I love knowing where you sit now. I feel so much better knowing like where you guys are structurally in that room now.
We used to sit right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so hobby resolution for 2023.
Yep.
I'm going to have to say finishing this GD Maxi Cleaver 2020 Prism Rainbow.
Good one. All right, Josh, your turn.
Mine's always card related, just like Christina. It's just like I want to get the 09 gold LeBron. I'd like to pick up another exquisite LeBron, and now I want some more like black prisms of CP3. Those are three.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Hobby resolution. I don't know. I need a new Grail. I'll tell you that. But you can't force. Like I was riding high on recent Grail acquisitions, but it's worn off. Worn off. I don't want to get rid of the cards. I love the cards. They are always going to be very important and happiness inducing. But the thrill has worn off. Time for new Grail. So, but you can't force it, like to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So that's a resolution for 2023.
You don't necessarily have like a checklist anymore of like specific cards. You're just sort of like whatever comes my way, I decide yes or no when it comes to me.
Sort of. I do have a small checklist.
Okay.
So I do have a small checklist. It's probably better to not say what it is. I'm learning. But I've got one McCaffrey on the checklist, I've got like half a dozen Jokic's, and then the other players like Collector's too expensive. The Grails are just too expensive. So those are out of reach. But okay. Timmy D 21 PC. Love this question. What's the one card that you've been waiting to pop that will be an automatic buy as soon as you see it?
2009 Topps Chrome Gold Refractor PSA 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. But just to keep it to one, fuck it, I'll just say what the McCaffrey card is. I might as well. I'm really not competing against anybody on those. If the McCaffrey Shield NT Auto, so McCaffrey's arguably his best rookie card. If that thing came to auction, I'm in that scramble mode where I'm buying it, and then whatever the price is, and then whatever I have to sell to get it, I'll do it.
You're not like messaging them being like, hey, I know it's only buy it now, but can you just lower it a little bit here?
No, I'm not on that one. I'm just not, because I already made an offer a year ago, well, 8 to 10 months ago, that was really strong, and it was just like laughed at. So I've given up on the ability to best offer my way to it.
Well, the market's come down, so maybe that person's wishing they would have sold to you.
Yeah, maybe I should try again. And Christina, we're just gonna say yours is the Maxi Kleber Neon Green Fast Break 2020 Prism out of 5.
It is. Yeah.
Yep. That's an insta buy. That could show up on eBay for $200 and you'd insta buy it. Don't exaggerate further. All right. Let's just leave it there. All right. Now to the bombshell topic.
I don't want to do this one either, but
No,
go ahead.
we'll just make this really short and sweet. But we always acknowledge questions that come in from the audience on any topic, but we're just going to keep this one short and sweet. So there's 4 questions on it. I'll just read them all. Some of them are more than questions. They're statements in and of themselves. It's KQ, wants to see discussion about PPP fraud. Throwback Sports Cards wants to talk about PPP loans. Bayfront Cards says, let's discuss PPP loans taken by auction houses and companies during a sports card boom. And finally, JC2 Collects says, if we're going to talk about PPP, let's be honest. Are people mad about fraud, or are they mad that they missed out on free money? What percentage of the hobby would have taken a free PPP loan if they could have? So there, we've kind of run the gamut of the PPP stuff.
Well, can you explain what it is? Because it's a very specific loan. It's not like a free money thing that I've seen thrown around. It's meant for a specific purpose.
Yes, it is. And Wikipedia has a nice summary of it on its page. So let me go to that. It's the Paycheck Protection Program. It was basically a $1 trillion business loan program established by the Donald Trump administration through the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act to help certain businesses, self-employed workers, sole proprietors, nonprofits, and tribal businesses continue to pay their workers. All right, so they were basically low-interest private loans. The amount of loan is approximately equal to 2.5 times the applicant's monthly payroll cost. That's an approximation. In some cases, you can get a second one equal to the first. And then here's the big one. The loan may be partially or fully forgiven if the business keeps its employee counts and wages stable. That's all you had to do. Mm-hmm. Keep employees and keep your wages stable, get it forgiven. The deadline to apply was March 31st, 2021. And then here's the last thing I want to read about it, also from Wikipedia, and this is key, I think, to understanding this. Some economists found that the PPP did not save many jobs as it claimed it would, and that it aided too many businesses that were really not at risk of going under. They noted that other programs like unemployment insurance and food assistance would have been more efficient at strengthening the economy. The program was criticized for its exorbitant costs. It cost approximately between $169,000 and $258,000 per job saved.
God.
Basically $200,000 per job saved. Yes, it's not efficient. And that the majority of benefits flowed to small business owners, to creditors of small business owners and to their suppliers rather than to the workers. So this is economists who have observed this. Supporters of the program note that now on the other side, the supporters of the PPP, they say it functioned well to prevent business closures and that you really shouldn't be measuring it based on jobs saved. So look, inherent in this topic is so many political things that are not within the scope or the subject matter of this show. And a lot of people who are discussing this issue are doing the hokey pokey. They have 1 foot in the political realm and then 1 foot in the sports card specific realm of this, which makes it a really weird, awkward, tough topic to discuss. So I really think our question askers, I think they, through their questions, actually represented all the points of view on it. I really don't have much to add.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the reasons it became such a hot topic is that specifically in the sports card industry, a lot of these businesses didn't need that money during that time period because cards were the one thing bucking the trend of all these businesses, and we were the ones booming. And so to have businesses take money that you didn't need probably, and then hopefully you were giving that out as paychecks, right? If not, that's kind of where the fraud and the issue comes in, is what if you're using that to pocket yourself? That's where the real, so it's really just a case by case basis. What are we talking about? Are we talking about fraud with an individual company? Are we talking about you don't like the general political, beginning of it where the government put this plan in place? That kind of seems to be the main question. Why did we even do this in the first place? It can go any number of directions. So it doesn't make sense for us to broadly say it was good or bad, right? There's so many nuances.
Totally. All right. I can't help myself. I will chime in on one level.
Let's go.
All right.
Make it juicy. Zion Williamson, this motherfucker, and dunk all over somebody.
All right, let's go. I'm not going to do that. But okay, so Dave Chappelle had an epic Saturday Night Live appearance about a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago. It was really funny. And one of the little jokes that he slid in was about Donald Trump. And he said, Donald Trump is an honest liar, or an honest fraud. And he said people had never seen that before, but they liked it. And he said it was amazing to watch Donald Trump go on debates, on the debate stage, and say, yeah, I know the system is messed up. It's unfair. It takes advantage of people and it screws people over. I didn't make the system, but I take advantage of it. I know the system's bad. I know it's broken, but hey, it is the system. I play within this system. I exploit this system. I manipulate politicians. I play the game. I know how it works. That's what Trump said, or that's what Chappelle observed Donald Trump saying. So he said, this is interesting because he was an honest fraud or an honest liar. He was calling out the fact that Trump was just being honest about it. He was acknowledging that there are inherent unfairnesses in a lot of these business practices and domains, but he still owned up that he took advantage of it. And it was the way Chappelle did it was much more succinct and funny. And I think one of the reasons why people in the hobby are one of the reasons why people are having such negative reactions to this news is that people in the hobby aren't owning it in that fashion. People in the hobby are not saying, we understand that this is not a good look. We knew it wouldn't be a good look when we took these loans, most likely, but we didn't know at the time how things were going to work out. The opportunity was there. We took it. We understand it's an unfair system. We understand that taxpayers are supporting this. We understand that this is effectively a small-scale bailout. We get all that. We know it looks bad. We're not perfect. It sucks. We did it, but we needed it. Here's why we needed it. It happened. If people did that, maybe they wouldn't inspire such a visceral reaction. But when people are trying to have it both ways, they're trying to get the free money and they're trying to tell people, you would have done it too, so don't judge me. That's not quite the most empathetic
from their
approach.
yachts. From their yachts.
From their yachts.
Here I
You would have
am
done
on
it too.
vacation, guys.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I'm on my yacht. Get fucked, everybody else. You would have done it too. Look at me.
Yes.
The problem is people don't have humility.
Yes, exactly.
And that's it in a nutshell.
Yep. So, shout out Dave Chappelle for a very funny Saturday Night Live skit. And look, all learning opportunities. Everything is an opportunity to learn, as we all learn.
He was on
Okay.
he was on Joe Rogan's podcast recently. He must be doing a little tour of the old content creation.
He's one of my top 3 comedians, top 1 maybe.
Dude,
He's,
top 2 easily. He's amazing.
He's so good. All right, he's so smart.
Killing them
All right,
softly. Best stand up ever.
yeah. All right. Caden Card says, rob, steal, and kill. That's the American way. All right, see, people watch this show for the chat. We serve up the softballs, and the chat hits the home run.
We rarely like come out with the big opinions. It's the chat that starts hammering out what we're really saying.
Starring you, the chat. Okay.
Why?
Okay, so throwback sports cards said he's making a reference to the Dave Chappelle thing that you obviously haven't seen. All right, throwback sports card says, "Let's ride." Topic:
That's right.
how many cards is too many? Asking for a friend.
Well, binders are very efficient, so you could have a ton of cards in binders. I would say like 100,000. How many cards do you guys have? Like one less than what you guys have.
Less than what we have?
We have a lot. We have tens of thousands.
Yeah, 100. I knew it. 100,000.
What?
I opened a lot of products.
Yeah, we have tens of thousands. It's too many. We have too many.
We have like five rows.
Yeah, we have about five rows worth and 3 or 4 binders and
And then we have a master set of
dominoes.
15 genres. And
Uh,
then we have like our good cards. That's not even including our good, like our PC cards.
how many do you have, Josh?
Mm. It'd be like 2,000.
2,000. And does that
Remember
feel
that
like too much or?
No. You remember that episode of that Netflix documentary where they went and visited that guy who had like the most cards ever in his house, and they went, that's too many. That guy has too many cards. Do you remember that?
The
Like it was-
Jack of all trades.
Yes, I think it was that one. Like they went and saw this guy, and it was just like a
Vegas
very.
or something.
It
Yeah.
was kind of like a depressing scene where it's like, all right, this guy's got too many cards.
Yeah. That is way too many. I think we have too many.
Is it too many when, like, is a good benchmark, like, when you don't know what you have, so you'd have to go look to see if you have a certain card?
Yeah, it's like
Mm.
that's like the hoarder mentality. It's like, wow, I didn't even know I had that, but now I can't live without it. It's like you didn't even know you had it 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. I would prefer to not have a single surplus junk card, and instead we have tens of thousands of them. And you don't want to get rid of them, you know.
It's hard to get rid of those cards though. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it is, especially like when they came out of a box that you opened yourself. You know, it's just like it's hard to get rid of them, but I do wish that they weren't there. But I also just like having them just for that like once every 2 years where I just randomly go through a 5-row and find like a Goran Dragic Prism Red or something that's like, and I'm like, oh, this card's so good. I get so excited about it. I'll put a little picture of it to my story, and people are like, why are you posting this garbage card?
Well, the chat has decided the barometer is like, if you think you're going to be featured on Hoarders, that's the moment. I like that as the hard stop.
That's a good barometer. All right. Billy Hoyle can dunk with a related question. Is there anything wrong with hoarding?
Man, you really lined them up today. You're just like, man,
I was like, which order should these two go in? And I put them in this order.
because you like knew we'd get to the word hoarding and you were just ready.
Yes.
What was the question? Is hoarding bad?
Is there anything wrong with hoarding?
Oh, now we're talking about like having multiple copies. Is that the topic?
That definitely could be hoarding. Yes.
Only in that, if you're like preventing someone from, like, what if someone had 5 of those Maxi Kleber cards that Christina wanted? That's where I like, The extreme of that is like it actually would kind of piss me off if one person is preventing 4 other people from finishing their sets or whatever.
That's true. That is really, really true. And then, what's the intent of the hoarding?
Yes, exactly. Thank
The
you.
intent to like corner the market and
Right.
right.
But hoarding is kind of like one of the foundations of collecting, isn't it? Like that's what the word collect. It's like a derivative of the word collecting, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think they go hand in hand. I think collecting is somewhere along the spectrum
Right.
in root hoarding. Yeah.
Hoarding is like kind of a pretty negative word, right? Like hoarding in itself is like
It's bad.
that point. It's the point where you're like having to look at yourself and be like, oh my God, I might have a problem, right?
Yes. You don't want to be called a hoarder, probably.
Have you seen that show, by the way? I used to love that show. It's pretty
I've
good.
seen it. I never like really watched too much of it, but I've seen it.
Like the ones where it's like, hey, we found like, cats and like poop and stuff in your house. It's like, all right, this person needs help.
Right. Okay.
We shouldn't be laughing.
If you had cats and poop on your bingo board for the crossover return, you win.
Dude, the crossover bingo board is the most ridiculous bingo board of any hobby show. I guarantee you that.
I agree. There's not a doubt about that. All right. You never know what crazy random shit is going to come up.
The chat
Especially when we're
bingo
only
board is even weirder.
Yeah, the chat is on one tonight. We need to domesticate the chat again. It's been a few weeks. Chat is way out of line. All right.
We new product idea. Crossover bingo boards.
Dude.
Nice. Oh, right. I forgot. We're supposed to be keeping an ongoing list of titles, and cats and poop.
Just poop would be pretty good. Just the poop emoji.
That is eventually where we're ending. That's where we're trending.
We went from trash to poop.
The final crossover episode ever is just going to be a poop emoji.
Domesticate.
Big chat is feral.
All right.
I still
All right.
think we need some sort of like hobby crossover award for that whole trash thing earlier this year. That was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it was earlier this year.
So Nick, if you can like cut that up into some like chunks of funny video about trash, that'd be so great.
Like the first time we were, who was it who brought about the trash emoji? It was Drew Brees, wasn't
It
it?
was you talking about Drew Brees as an announcer on NBC. And then it just like, we both got so excited about it that we're like, we're going to just fucking take this little thing we found and do it for like 3 weeks.
Definitely lasted longer than 3 episodes.
I want to apologize to all the Drew Brees collectors out there.
Well, it was like you uncovered this little nugget of like, oh my gosh, I could say something and then show a picture of a trash can and it's hilarious. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just great.
All right. We have so many questions today, which isn't surprising. All right, this is another one from Drake. Drake's PC. Many sales platforms claim that buyers who don't pay are banned, and that 2% or less of their auctions go unpaid. But a poll was conducted by Vol in NC Cards this week that showed that a statistically valid sample size does not believe them. So what, if anything, could be done to increase transparency? And so let me fire off a quick thought here. I think the best way to study this, if the intent is to create accountability in terms of reporting of unpaid items on platforms. So many of the major auction houses have policies, and you'll have to look into which ones in particular. If an item isn't paid, it gets relisted, and it gets relisted in the next auction. And that listing that went unpaid gets deleted. So if you really want to nerd out about this, and it kind of sounds like a fun project to me, you would look at all the auctions in a given month from all the auction houses that have this policy, and then let the 2-week collection window pass, and then go back through it again and say, okay, we had 300 auctions, and now there's 271 results. Therefore, X percent, that would be 10%, or a little under 10% of the items went unpaid. So you could do something like that. That's the study that would be a slam dunk, as they said. I didn't see Vol and NC Cards poll, but I worry about using respondent type polls to answer questions that can be empirically answered just by navigating the terms and conditions and the policies of these platforms and whether items are still there after the collections period's over. Go ahead, Christina, you had something?
Well, yeah, because like Drake is saying, like, not that the poll is the definitive answer, it's that the poll was saying the sample size collected don't believe that it's 2% or less.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, so, I mean, popular opinion does not equate fact.
Okay, that's a good point, too. Do you want to respond to anything in this question? Because the heart of this question is really, like, how much stuff is really going unpaid, and should we be worried about it, and can there be more transparency on it?
Yeah, I mean, the auction companies could like produce a list of like, here are the ones that weren't paid, but that just doesn't seem like something they would do, and I'm not sure that we should expect that from them. I was just like laughing at the like, I'm supposed to feel better that my item didn't get paid and it's going to be relisted, and now I'm going to have to wait 2 more months to get paid. But don't worry, that person was banned, and it doesn't happen that often. So now I feel better. Thanks. Like, I love that that's the response. I feel so much better now. I have no idea if it's more or less than 2%. We could probably figure that out like in a month. Like you said, we could just do it.
It's definitely an issue, though. Unpaid isumes is an issue. eBay, I think, has by far the highest incidence of it. Not that that's eBay's fault necessarily.
Trae Young specifically.
Yeah. No, Russell Westbrook. Base cards. I mean, yeah, Trae Young is a big problem. Any hot, prospect.
Mahomes,
Allen, Trae, Luka, Anthony Edwards of late, Jordan Poole.
So it is harder to do it on the auction houses than eBay, right? Because you will get like banned quicker, and there's like pre-approval that has to go into it. So it is like quite a bit tougher to do this on the auction platforms than it is eBay.
Yep, I think that's exactly right.
Why card letters are important.
Yeah, and then we try to weed this stuff out. I mean, look, you're talking to people who every night see blatantly shilled and manipulated and fake sales.
Can we just post like the purgatory count divided by the total and be like, here you go, here's eBay every night?
Yes, we could. So, and like we publish a list every day of every sale we exclude. And usually, we're reviewing 2,000 to 2,500 sales on average a night. And then Purgatory has X number, 20 to 30 probably. So
we save the auctions each month on PWCC, obviously, and then we could just check the next month to see the diff and just like produce that.
We could. I think so. Sounds like it anyway. The way you just described it sounds like it could work.
It just seems like division. I'm one number divided by another.
I think that's math, my friend.
Times 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Jose says, do you think we could get a shill index?
Outlier index of shit.
Slab Mafia says, how many people review sales for Card Ladder? 4. 4 people do it on a daily basis every day.
None of those people are me, so you should be happy with that.
Don't blame Josh. When a shilled auction makes its way in, you can blame Christina, me, or one of the other two. Don't blame the other two, just blame us.
Yeah, just blame us.
You can yell at us.
But mostly just Christina.
Mostly Christina.
It is me. And if you are a seller or a buyer and you not pay, you canceled the sale, or the seller, the buyer didn't pay you as a seller, please report it to Card Ladder so that we can update our records and the hobby can know, like, because transparency is key for the market to be healthy. So we also rely on you guys to help us.
Yeah, we do. And a lot of people do report stuff. That's how the shilling of the Mahomes 2017 Prism PSA 10 got on our radar, was somebody let us know. So
I probably get one feedback through our system a day of like, hey, this wasn't paid. You're fucking up the thing. Please fix it. And I just click it, check to make sure they're right, delete it or don't, fix those every day.
Indeed. All right. Heat Collector says, question for you three. We got 2 questions of this variety, so let's not beat this one up too much because there's another one following that's very similar. Heat Collector 2, question for you three. Who is a player that you might consider starting a new PC with? This question has come up a lot more. We never would have got this question 2 years ago, I feel like.
No.
But but people have started asking this question a lot more this year.
Can I start?
Yes, please do.
I've been throwing this idea around that the 3 of us do a PC together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know who it is?
Joshua Christopher of the Houston Rockets.
No. Okay, it might just be you and me. I don't know how Christina feels about this, but I want to start a Patrick Mahomes PC.
I'm a Mahomes PC. All right.
Yeah, I'm not about that.
No,
Yeah.
she's not.
She's not about that. I know, Chris, you and I have floated it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well, there's a sweet PSA 10 RPA that's out there. Oh, no.
There's a silver ending tonight on Leland's. I like the silver ones out of 25.
You do like those. You do like those.
It's like the same thing, but shinier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think this is the new who should I invest in question.
Just sneaking it
Yeah,
out.
it's the new way.
They finally got it.
They're getting smarter.
This is what I think. This is we wouldn't answer their this or that or any of their investment advice. So now they're saying, if you were going to start a new PC, who would you pick? I think it's a new investor question. Heat Collector, I'm on to you.
Smart
And I
thing.
don't have one. I can barely keep up with Cleva.
Yeah, that's the problem I'm at too, is I don't have the bandwidth
Yeah.
to use one of my favorite buzzwords. I don't have the bandwidth.
Well, I'm not aligned with you on that, sir. We can get aligned on Mahomes. Let's do it. Let's get aligned.
We can align on Mahomes, yeah.
You know what? Let me fire up a PowerPoint tomorrow. I'll get that cracking tomorrow.
I need to see a spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I need to see some measurables and some pledges.
I'll send that. I'll fire up a dashboard. I'll send that your way, and we'll get going on it.
All right, nice. I'm starting to feel a little bit of synergy now.
Josh heard my Mahomes take while he was in Dallas.
Yep, and listen, that's more than enough.
Yeah.
Already more people have heard than should have.
2 additional ears that shouldn't have had to listen to it. So.
All right. That's my honest answer, is I don't have the bandwidth to support another PC. I would need to give up a PC to bring on a new one at this time. Sorry, Heat Collector. Or I'd start a Jimmy Butler collection. How about that, Heat Collector? They like that. All right. Paper Street Sports Cards. This question I want to spend a little bit of time on because I've got a fun way to do it. I got a fun way to do it. All right.
That's what I posted, Christina. Remember that? I did the Mahomes Rodgers. I love that take so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Okay. You are given $100,000 to PC 2020.
Here we go.
Yeah, no,
Another.
she called it. All right. To PC shiny 2020 and onward only. So they have to be from 2020 and onward only. What player gets your love and money?
2020 onward.
Here's how I want to do this. Right? We are football and basketball guys. So, and girl. So let's just look at the NFL draft class from 2020. I'll read some names.
Yeah.
Because I think you already are. Wasn't Justin Jefferson? Yeah, Justin Jefferson was the 22nd pick in the 2020 draft. That's a guy that you have flirted with collecting that guy.
He's just so overpriced. I'll just tell you right now. Like, as much as I love him,
Yep.
he's like the same price as like Randy Moss. It's like he wishes he was Randy Moss.
Yeah. Little ways to go still. Okay, but you got Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Tua, who I like. I like Tua. Justin Herbert. You've got Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb. You've got Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Love, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, T. Higgins, Mike Pittman. I mean, Jonathan Taylor. This class is crazy.
I just
Claypool, Trevon Diggs. Oof.
I don't want to sound.
Jalen Hurts. How about that? He was a late second round pick.
I don't want to sound like a know-it-all or like a douchebag, but like I already know all of those guys are way overpriced because they're new products. Like this happens every time. Like they're just gonna go down. I know too much. I've seen too many dead bodies.
Okay, let's go over to the 2020 NBA draft.
He just typed in Google.com into his address bar.
No, I did not.
Yes, he did.
Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna fucking yeah. All right. When you asked that question initially, you took it the direction which I knew you would, which is like, let's look at the rookie class. I was actually thinking like, what if I could pick like a Mahomes or somebody and like just try to get their fucking black prism from 2020 and like get their best cards and spend that $100,000 that way?
Yep, I think that's fair play. When I was thinking about this question, I was like, you could do that too. You could do Joe Montana.
That would be really hard to spend $100,000 on 2020 Joe Montana.
2020 and forward. So you got, you could go get his best flawless and his but all right. So here's some guys for 2020 NBA draft class: Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball, P. Will, Killian Hayes. I'm just gonna start skipping a little bit here. Tyrese Halliburton, who's been amazing this year. Poku. Tyrese Maxey, who's hurt but was playing really, really well. Desmond Bain. Football definitely had the stronger class, I think. Football 2020.
Oh, let's go.
Let me ask you this. You typed in Google.com again. Let me ask you this. The question, does it have to be a rookie from 2020?
We just went over this. Are you not paying attention?
No. I was
Are
reading
you paying
chat.
attention?
I was reading
Okay,
chat.
well, too bad. It does not need to be a rookie. We were just talking about how it could be Joe Montana or Patrick Mahomes. You could collect their Prism Blacks.
Rude.
2021, you got Kate Cunningham. You got Jalen Green, who I like Jalen Green as well. Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Josh Giddey, Franz Wagner, Şengün, a.k.a. Baby Jokic, Joshua Christopher, Bones Highland, who's really sick. I like Bones Highland a lot, too. Yeah, okay, so we just went over, 2021 football draft class. I think we don't need to waste our time. Boncaro is this year. We could do this year's class, too, I guess, but those guys don't really have any cards out.
I'm over this topic. Let's talk about the Jaylen Brown sale. I feel like.
Okay, all right, let's talk about that.
Did you see people hating on that?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, what is there to hate about buying a the best card he has of like a freaking second team All NBA right now or something? Like the guy's amazing. What an amazing card.
We just went over this topic about an hour ago.
We did?
We are in the sports card hobby where we hate everything.
Oh my, I know. Like, I'm trying to see the angle where this is bad. It's not like it was like $1 million.
All right, so let me show the card. NT logo band autograph 1/1. Beautiful card. A PSA 6 auto 10, but who cares?
Dude, what a sick card.
Very, very sick card. It sold on Alt for $60,001.
Dude, people spent like 1.2 million for like Herbert. This is such a fraction of that it's like I just can't get mad at it. It's just it's a number that's like within the range of I can't get mad at this.
Gunther's card says Zach Wilson's best card sold for the same amount. At least Jaylen Brown doesn't suck.
That was like his 5 millionth best card. The one he's talking about?
Yeah.
The freaking Players and Stripes garbage. That card sucks. That card was $60,000.
Let's pull that card up.
That's not his best card.
Dude,
That's his most expensive card. That card sucks.
There is a lot going on design-wise. The Stars and Stripes, 1/1 shield, Zach Wilson. Okay.
60 grand. Are you kidding me? That versus Jaylen Brown's best card. That's literally right there. That's like his 10th best card or whatever.
60,
Not even.
66 grand, but that was back in August. The card letter value today, 2 of 5 confidence rating
Gunther says one of his best.
is 23.
Dude, I love the player index calculations. It's just like, it's so quick and easy. It's just like, yeah, his shit's tanked. It's probably 23 now. Like, that makes sense. It's just like a perfectly, but it's not like, it's not a round number, right? It's like 23,000 Google math and calculators.
Indeed. Yeah, cool card, cool sale, cool post. One of the people who bought it was in the chat a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if he's
It was
still
a
here.
Group purchase?
A group effort. Cool card. 610 says it sold for 1.7%. He is an accountant, by the way, so I trust the math. It sold for 1.7% of the Luka Logoman RPA. Jaylen Brown is a little bit better than 1.7% of Luka. There you go. He has cards and candy. 911 is back.
Dude,
And he chimed in to say, "I like the purchase, BT Dubs."
Christina, did you jump out of your seat at that dunk last night? I even like, woo! Look at this chubby guy running down the court, slamming dunks on Drew Holiday. Look at this guy.
Statue of Liberty dunk. We're just
But he built up to it like, I'm about to dunk this. He's like, no, he's not. Oh my god!
Drew wasn't taking it seriously because like he wasn't really like charging at him. He was just kind of trotting over.
He was still pretty sick. Was the stadium just going bonkers?
Yeah. Everybody didn't sit down for the next 5 minutes.
Well, the next play was a sick pass to a wide open three, and that was like, take the roof off.
Yeah, and then it went to timeout. Yeah. But so like it was that dunk, it was that pass, and it was a timeout, and everybody didn't sit down until that timeout was over.
Awesome. That's the best part about sports games and live games.
Oh yeah. All right. So what was your answer to that question? You're going to go with like Mahomes stuff from 2020, 2021, 2022?
Was it any sport?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not like super thrilled about answering that question. I don't collect that stuff that new.
Yeah.
Was it?
Christina says it's just another invest question, so we should just
Was it this? Was it one of these?
Paper strip.
What's this?
This is when you get dunked on.
Oh, I guess so. It should have been in one of these too. A too small. Would have liked to see one of those hit.
People are using that way too much.
In multiple sports. But look, it hasn't gotten as bad as this.
Oh my god.
When they started doing this in the WNBA after making a free throw, it went too far.
Let's not talk about WNBA, please.
I'm just saying, it just went a little too far. But I haven't seen this one in a long time now. So, for those listening on the audio, I'm doing the Steph Curry put you to sleep pose. Moran did it to Jose Alvarado.
I've just seen where like one short player will do that thing to someone taller, and it's like, you're actually shorter than them. That doesn't even make sense.
It's gotten way out of control. They're doing it in football too.
Well, they're basically doing it now for like you're weak. Like it's not even about height anymore. It's just literally now about like I'm stronger than you or like tougher. You know, like that's not what it was meant to. It was meant to be like you're posting up someone who's shorter and like this is what's going to happen to you.
Right. Exactly.
Isn't that what Luka did? He was doing it to like he started it right with like shorter players on him.
I don't know who started it. I've tried to look this up. I do think Luka did start it, and you're gonna love this. He did it. He started it against Patrick Beverly.
Yes. See, no, that's the perfect usage of it. That is like,
right. That's right.
and it's like you're shorter and you want to be taller and tougher, but you're not. So this is what's going to happen to you.
And
You're going to be short.
it was advice to Tyronn Lue and to Patrick Beverly. He's too small. Stop having him guard me.
That's exactly right. It's not about like I powered through you because we're the same size. No, it's about this little mouse in the house. He's about to get punished because you're making a bad matchup for him.
And now Muggsy Bogues is doing it to Manute Bol.
Yeah, it's like, no, stop. Like Zion did it to Ayton, and it's like, dude, he's 7 feet. He's not too small for you.
Too small.
You just like made a good play.
Right. Oh, Christina would like to point out that too fucking small is the direct quote.
Oh, that sounds like a Luka thing. That guy is feisty.
Yeah. Although he got Luka's feistiness got tamed a little bit last night with a direct hit.
Oh yeah. Straight to the old nutsack.
Luka was actually out for the second leg of the back-to-back tonight with a bruised groin on the.
Was that game in Chicago?
Yeah, it
They went
was.
from Dallas to Chicago in one night. Like, you guys should know that trip. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we do know that trip. That's not a small.
I'm pretty sure
Short
they
trip.
fly.
They do fly. Well, they fly to the airport, then they got to get on buses and get to the hotel. They said they didn't get to the hotel till like 4 a.m.
Dude, that's nuts of a back-to-back. Someone on Facebook posted like trying to clown Luka that they were losing to the Bulls, and they're like, Luka's losing tonight. And I replied in the comments like, he's not even playing, you idiots. Like, you're just making the case better for him, actually.
Yeah, and I hated that too because I'm a supporter of the role players on this team. I'm not one of these guys like he has no help. No, he does have help.
Yeah.
Target. But the Bulls shot 62%. They shot 64% from the floor. And
Oh, it's the
59%
Bill Simmons take.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, they Bulls. You could have had Luka, you could have had prime Dirk Nowitzki, and you could have had Tyson Chandler. 3 of the best Mavs ever, and the Mavs were still blown out by the Bulls.
I told you the other day though that Simmons was like, there was like one game the Celtics lost. He's like, yeah, but the Heat were just making lucky shots in that game. I was like, shut up, Bill.
It's not lucky shots. They just were killing them. Look, it's a good thing Luka didn't play tonight because if Luka played, they still would have lost by 30.
Gotcha.
I'll just
So
say
it
that.
makes him look better tonight.
Yeah, but he doesn't deserve it because they were going to get their ass kicked whether he played or not.
The whole back-to-back cross-country thing, that's like that's kind of nuts.
That's tough. I wasn't mad that the Bulls won. The Bulls are good. The Bulls are much better than their 11-14 record.
Yeah, because they have Dragic.
All right. Okay, Mad City Collector says, do you have any words of wisdom as I wait out the investors and the influencers who have some of my Grail cards that are continuing to drop in price? What advice do you have?
Oof, this one's really tough. I'm going through this myself. Like, I'm trying to buy, and a lot of those folks are like not willing to sell at a loss, you know? So like they're just gonna hold through it, I guess, is what I'm being told by most of them. So it's really hard. You have to like really overpay, right?
Yeah, and you'll get hit with I don't know why this is acceptable reasoning in our hobby, but it is. You're gonna get hit with but I'm into it for this, and I'm
Yes.
not gonna lose money.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Imagine if the stock market worked that way. It'd never go down. Just always go up. Always up.
That was one that was like, I'm willing.
Cards to stocks indirectly. I'm sorry. Prepare the gulags. I'm sorry.
The one
Can't
that's
believe I-
like off that same thing, but a little more specific is like someone claiming to try to like do me a favor and be nice to me because they're willing to take a big loss, but it's still like way above market. I'm like, how is this helping me? You're still asking me to way overpay, but you're being nice because you're going to take a loss. I'm not seeing that.
Right. Right. Okay. So wait it out, basically.
I guess. Well, I mean, if it's like a 101, like do runs with Bulls 23, like if it's a Grail 101, the seller still has the leverage on a card like that, so you might have to just overpay.
That sounds about right. All right, and the third and final from Drake. Drake's PC.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
Okay. He says, discuss the new policies that some vaults are. Did you know that Gucci has a vault? Okay, discuss the new policy that some vaults are putting in place where you have to pay a higher percentage if you withdraw the card prior to 90 days after you put it in the vault. What benefits does this offer the collector who transacts on the platform and just wants the card in their possession ASAP?
Oh.
And this is a hard question for me to answer because I don't pay attention to vault fees. I don't have anything in a vault. And I'm not really sure how this policy works. So I'm going to pass it off to you.
I mean, he's like being facetious. It doesn't benefit the collector at all. It's really just a strategy for these companies to, you know, get you to keep your cards in the vault. It's all like this giant strategy from all these guys to get you to send cards to the vault. And the way they have a bunch of ways to do that. One is like change the fee structure based on how long it's been there. You know, pitch to you the simplicity of the ability to sell it quickly because it's already in the vault, right? And they make that kind of seamless. And then being able to like take loans against it, being able to like buy stuff, you know, with the collateral. There's all these different ways, and all of it is to get you to send your cards to the vault. So just keep that in mind.
Sounds about right. If
So
we wanted
Justin,
to... Oh, go ahead.
Justin says specifically for PWCC, it's 3% fee to withdraw. 3% of the like what they say the value of the card is, withdrawal within 90 days, and 1% thereafter. That's a lot, dude. What if it's like $100,000 card? You got to pay $3,000 to take it out of the vault. That's the one that really ticks me off is when I buy a card from somebody and the card is in the vault, and then they want to just like transfer it to me, and then I got to take the hit. So I like calculate that as the cost. Like either you're going to pay to ship it to me from the vault because I'm not doing the transfer thing because then I have to pay the fee, or like that's worked into the price, you know?
Yep. That's a good point. I do think Drake is also getting it though, like, what are the benefits to the vault? You know, and there are benefits to vaulting. You know, insurance is taken care of, ease of transferring a card from one vault account to the other, ease of being able to send it to auction without having to ship it. You know, these are some of the advantages that you get when you sort of get your involuntary 90 day, when your card is sentenced to 90 days in the vault before it gets freed to you if you want it.
No, it's still 1% after that. It's never free to take it out.
It's never free, right? But then it's like on a, it's got like an ankle bracelet on at that point. You know, it's not fully imprisoned. All right.
Right.
I don't know if the prison analogy works. But okay. Heat collector. Back at it again. What is your favorite PC card that you've purchased for under $20?
Under $20?
Everything is Maxi PC,
Pretty much.
with a few exceptions.
Yeah,
Probably
with
some
like 4 exceptions.
I don't know. I've gotten some Le'Veon Bells for in the $20-ish range that are pretty sweet.
Yeah, some like binder girly cards that I have. Like, I think I bought one of the gold prisms for like $20. Some maybe one of those.
All right. Lights Camera Card says, what do you think about this opinion? If you wisely spend your money, you could take any player and buy their cards and come out ahead profit-wise over time. Any player. If you're wisely spending your money, you can take any player and come out ahead over time by buying their cards.
I mean, only if you're like playing the margin game where you're like buying something because it was mislisted, or you know, you're just like selling it back immediately. I'm not sure that you can do that on the whole of like, you know, the generic index investing where you're just like picking cards and like buying them and then holding, right? Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I think the counterpoint to this is there's lots of players, even their best, like Zach Wilson. Let's do Zach Wilson. Even if you went and got what would be considered his safest card, which would be, you know, probably his best card. I don't know if that's right. But yeah, there's no Zach Wilson card that you could have bought 6 months ago that's worth more today.
But you could have
That's true.
bought one and sold it like the day of and made money or something, and then
I
never
guess.
bought another Zach Wilson. You just made money.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
That's kind of cheating.
yeah, I don't know. I guess so. Maybe okay. So maybe the analogy is, are there people who beat the market every year picking stocks? There are. So, all right.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's like this person's saying like with every player, the person who beats the market in stocks always has some losses in there.
they do. That's true. They don't pick all winners.
Exactly. So like that's why the question is specifically saying you can make every player a winner. I'm not so sure about that.
So glad to get to this next question so we can get back on track of pronouncing this guy's name properly. Ben Cross Country Runner 1.
There you go.
Can you guys think of some creative ways to make collecting paper pictures of men more complicated? I'm running out of ideas.
Was that really a question or just like a funny?
It is pretty complicated. Do you agree?
It's complicated because of the money aspect. Like there's just so much money involved that it's going to be complicated.
I think some of the products and the sets and some of that stuff is pretty complicated too.
I think everything can be complicated. Like even like to speak on his level of running, like I've been getting into running. It's complicated. You can't just like run. You can't just go outside and like run in a straight line and then be done. There's like all these like different things you have to learn, and you know what I mean? Like everything has some layer of complexity.
What's some of the stuff you've been learning? Like what are good shoes to have or
Yeah. Or like it's mostly like speed. Like you can't just like go out and run really fast. Like you have to like run slow to eventually to like build your endurance so that you can run faster. So that was something I didn't know, right? It's like, oh, if you want to learn to run fast, you got to practice running fast. But actually, what I've learned is like you got to actually learn to run slow, and it seems weird, you know?
Got it. Okay. Power Wheels. Oh my God, it's time for these questions already.
He's got cool cards, by the way.
I agree. He does.
He's got my style. Gold refractors.
He says, booked my first trip to the National Card Show. Can you believe it? This is our first question, I think, for the 2023 National.
Let's go.
He says, I've spent little to no time in big cities in my life.
Well, you still want a national.
What?
Rosemont, Illinois.
Yeah, true. What Chicago street smart advice can you give me?
This is for you.
But
This is not. This is for all of us.
first off, the first street smart advice to give you is you're in Rosemont, not in Chicago. Right. So hopefully you didn't book like the Chicago Omni Hotel because you're going to be 30 minutes away from the convention center, bud.
Good. You don't even have to bud this guy. He's asking for help.
He tagged you, Chris. He wanted your opinion on Chicago.
Well, first of all, I'm not from Chicago, so there's nothing that would give me a special opinion about Chicago. I've probably been to it a few dozen times, and I have none. I have no either street smart advice. None.
One.
Go ahead.
You're ready. You got something. Go.
We'll just get a hotel that's as close as humanly possible to the convention center. Make sure you're insured. The items that you're bringing are insured, and or that the items that you bring, if they're stolen, you can live with it. So I never bring cards to any shows ever, and people can, I think, attest to this. Because if one of those cards got lost, first of all, because I'm an airhead, and I just leave bags in places, and I just forget things. And then second of all, because if any one of those cards went missing or stolen, I would be crushed like those aluminum can crushing devices that people have in their garage. Where they just crush it. That would be me. I would be crushed like an aluminum can. I would be smashed. So I just don't do it. And that's the first thing my mind goes to here is like, if don't bring your cards if you're like me, and there's a likelihood that you will lose them, and if you do lose them, you will be crushed like an aluminum can.
Okay, those were National 101 answers. That's not. This guy wants Chicago mean streets. This guy wants. So here's my advice.
Okay. Let's go.
You got to be really careful about what pizza joint you choose, because if you go to, what is it, Giordano's? Is that the main one? Then all the
Giordano's is kind of like a chain.
Yeah, exactly. You're proving my point.
Yeah.
If you go to something you think you're supposed to go to, like Giordano's, all the local guys shit on you, and they're like, that's not even real Chicago pizza.
Right.
And then there's like some guys that are like, oh, that's not even real Chicago. You need like the thin crust with the square cut. That's real Chicago. I'm like, you guys are so complicated with this Chicago pizza. So be careful with your choices on pizza. Talk to an expert. Figure out where you need to go.
Talk to Fat Snacks Cards.
Also,
Jordan is in the chat. He said, don't go to the south side. Okay, and then he named some streets. All right. Any other advice for
Jordan, what's like the official pizza joint of the National?
Yeah, let's go.
Pick one.
Lou Malnati.
We have Lou Malnati's in Arizona, and people
that's
tell me
like
those are bad.
like a chain as well.
I have those. I got Lou Malnati's within like 1 mile of my house. There's no way.
I like Giordano's.
Yeah, Giordano's is good.
Tavern style. See, Josh Midwest Vintage Card says tavern style. Thank you. That's the one I was. It's like the thin crust, but they're like square cut tavern.
Yeah.
Deep dish is not pizza.
Midwest doesn't know pizza. If
Okay.
you want pizza, go to New Haven, Connecticut.
Don't listen to that. We got some Chicago people in the chat. Jose says Giordano's and Lou Malnati's. You will not go wrong if you go to those. And then Josh, Midwest Vintage Cards, also Chicago guy, says Vito and Nick's for pizza. Vito and Nick's.
See, this is the thing about these Chicago guys. You guys don't even know internally what's your pizza. New York, you guys know what your pizza joints are. New Haven, you know what your pizza joints are. Respect.
Yeah. Also, it's not edgy or breaking new. It's not. You're not breaking news when you say Chicago pizza sucks. Yeah, I see this take everywhere. It's like, oh my god, I'm the first person to ever think that New York style pizza or New Haven style pizza is better. No, newsflash, everybody thinks that. So just, it's fine.
Well, you know what? You know what's the best pizza joint? Elliott. Elliott's Pizza, Dallas, Texas. Guys, you need to go there. You need to go there.
That pizza was great.
No, Josh,
Well,
cutie pie.
I'm ready to order it now.
Shit. Chris liked Elliott's better. Christina liked, and I liked Cutie Pie's better. You know, to each their own.
Elliot, look, I ate that cutie pies later. It was just, it had too much. It was this. What did I graded Elliot's like a 9.1 or something.
Yeah,
Like ridiculous.
crazy.
Like an insane score.
We had a pizza taste test to try and find Dallas good pizza. We still haven't really found it, but Josh and I, Vito, Chris, and Cutie Pies is currently the top runner.
No, it's not.
If you're in Dallas, ask me with the best pizza.
Where's all the Dallas people in the chat? We got Chicago people in there. We got LA people in there.
Dallas, Texas is definitely not the best pizza, but while I was there, I quite enjoyed our little taste test.
Elliot's was, it's maybe because the bar had been set so low, because we hadn't found good pizza in Dallas since we've been there. Elliot's finally hit the spot. I want Elliot's right now.
Well, dude, the best was just that, like, I ordered Elliott's, and then Christina's like, we're taste testing. We're getting 2 places, and I was like, no, we're not. She's like, I already ordered it. We're doing this. We did it. We ordered 2 pizzas.
I wanted veggie pizza, and Elliot didn't have veggies for their pizza. Like, what kind of pizza
I don't even
are
know.
you?
So she wasn't eating a pizza. She was eating something. She was eating bread and sauce and veggies.
And a salad, yeah. She was having like a salad with bread.
Right.
We made her get half that pizza with not veggies, so we figured it out.
And they cut it perfectly so that your pepperoni side had no veggies, remember?
I
Cutie pie
remember.
what they were doing.
Cutie Pies overdid it. The spices were popping a little too much. Elliot's was just...
You're saying it was too tasty.
Yes. Elliot's had that hole-in-the-wall excellence.
Pineapple is not pizza. I don't want to hear this pineapple and pizza crap. No, that is not pizza, people. No, that's just like a different food.
Cutie Pies is indeed the name of the place. Yes, sir, Zane.
I love how we've divulged into pizza talk. Not even only an hour and a half into the show.
It was only a matter of time. We were looking to break out into these tangents. The chat has never been more engaged.
Dude, that's how we know it works, when the chat just blows up over these like random topics. They just go nuts. They're like throwing all their opinions.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
They're like, PPP loans? Yawn. Pineapples on pizza? You motherfucker. Draw our lines in the sand. Let's go to war.
Flavor down.
I think Justin's had a few. I'm the one that's had Truly's, but this guy's had a few.
Let's go, Justin.
Dude, South, I would do that with you. Travel the country trying pizza. I mean, there's this little video called, I don't know what he calls those videos, Dave Portnoy, his pizza reviews. That's my dream job.
I think it sounds better than it would be in reality.
No. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I want to know more.
Dude, I'm not getting out of bed for a slice of pizza. It's a nice, thing to fill 10 minutes of my day, but
you know what? The show had a good run, but we're just not meant to be, You find out later than you would like to have found out, but, you find out, you move on.
Yeah, I know. I just see the, I'm the pizza pessimist. I'm keeping it real.
I could tell. Christina and I got really into that rating. You were just like, I don't know, 9.7, and it's like, God, have a little self-respect of your pizza reviews, guy.
And then I asked you guys, how did it stack up to to John's and Bleecker?
Right.
You guys, I guess, it's not even close, right?
And you were like, it's still like bread and salt. You're like, you didn't even care.
Well, I was just impressed by Elliot's. It was just hidden, man. Elliot's was really hitting the spot.
All right, let's ask some card questions. This is getting...
All right. Well, there you go. Power Reels knew what he was doing.
I got a tiny break.
I definitely like tendies. Dave's Hot Chicken Piece. Oh, Dave's Hot Chicken Place? No. Is that in Dallas, Christina? Can you look that up? All right. House of Wax Sports Card says Snitch Ref, a.k.a. Dev in the Lab. Will his videos impact players' markets? Christina, have you seen? Oh, there's Jeremy Allen. Dave's Hot Sucks. Jeremy Allen, we need you, man, to hold it down for Dallas and give us some recommendations for the best pizza place. Yes, they are in Dallas. All right. Oh, Jeremy, I got to tell you a story. We went to a sports card shop in Dallas earlier this week and had a really funny experience that you enjoy. But I'm not going to say it on the pod. All right.
I know you didn't bring up that experience without me on here.
No,
that was the best.
We should not go into that. We should not go into that.
Hold on a second. I got a phone call.
Stop it. We're moving on.
Okay. All right. So did you hear the question?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Carry. Travel. Carry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that ruining the NBA? Is that what he said?
No. It will that impact players' markets?
With the assumption that like he's pointing out certain players are doing it more than others or something?
I guess. I don't know. Carry.
They're funny videos.
They're very funny videos. Okay. Next question. Oh, this comes from Mohammed. Kobe, 81-23, 1996-13. What's one thing you guys are not, Olivia Boyce, thankful for?
I love it. You said Olivia, right?
Yes,
you said Olivia?
Yes, I did.
Not
What's one thing you are not
Disappointed.
thankful for in the hobby? One thing you are not thankful for. He wants us to hate on something.
Not thankful. Oh man, where do I start?
Yeah, just one thing.
How long do we have?
Yeah.
This show has been filled with things we hate, I think, so far. I don't know. Do you want to give one?
One thing I'm not thankful for is what did she review? Never mind. Inside joke, people. I think Derek Cheater's calling me. Hold on.
What was the name of the food place that we
North
went
Italia.
to? North Italia.
She was not disappointed.
No.
Something that I'm not thankful for in the hobby. Influencers, all of them, go away, myself included.
Yeah, that's a good one. Influencer is a good one. Here's something I'm not thankful for. Non-sports card categories repeatedly trying to cannibalize sports cards.
No, that doesn't bother you.
Just stop. Just stop.
Okay.
It ends. It goes the same way. Ends the same way every time.
Are you saying stop like stop signs? You want to buy those?
Yeah. Next acid class: red octagons.
That's it with white letters. I had one. Shield bitters.
Yes.
Nice.
Stop
That's a
making my
good one.
job so fucking hard and stop being pieces of pond scum.
Pond scum rhymes with Tom Thumb, the grocery store in Dallas. All right, good. So we hate chill bitters, influencers, and adjacent collectibles categories that are trying to cannibalize the sports card demographic. All right. Luigi32123 says, "Is there hobby love for Vince Carter?"
Is there?
That's the question. You know, one of the first things I would do to try and answer the question, like I would just look, you know, and this isn't a perfect proxy for hobby love, but what's the most expensive Vince Carter card ever sold? How much do you think it sold for?
Oh, I love this. Is my favorite way to do it
Yeah.
because it's like it shows you two things: one, liquidity, and two,
Pretty.
just like what's the most someone's willing to spend on this guy? Like how much are you, like 60 grand for Jaylen Brown? How much are you willing to actually drop on a player? How popular are they really? I like this barometer. All right. I'll say like maybe like one of his Rubies rookies for like 25 grand.
That's a really good guess. So it is this card, his Ruby's Rookie, is his highest selling card. It's a PSA 8 and it sold for 18 grand in June.
That was a good guess.
Yeah, it's a really good guess.
That's a card right.
That's a cool card. So what do you take away from that? Does Vince Carter have hobby love?
Yeah, so if that's that card's out of 25,
That card is out of
35,
25.
25. So like that kind of tells me if there was like a 101 RPA of Vince, it would probably sell for over 100K, at least at that time. It tells me that he's got love.
Well said. I think he's got love as well.
I think we're just perverting the fact that like super young players sell for millions of dollars because they've got these like really amazing one-of-one RPA cards, and we're sort of like trying to say these older guys don't get love. It's just such a different era of cards. It's really hard to definitively say that. This card is out of 25. You know, it's like he just doesn't have like he doesn't have the equivalent, you know, card that Herbert has, and he's like an older player who doesn't have the hype of like being active and young right now. So it's just really hard to compare. Agreed?
Great. And I think just about any athlete has cards that have some value as long as they were in like a decent insert set or they have like a low pop PSA 10 rookie. Any player has cards that are at least worth four figures plus. If they've got a low pop rookie card or they're in like a PMG set or they have a logo man autograph or something. I think any player has some level of collectability just by virtue of being in a good product, if nothing else. But there's almost always somebody out there who's got a little bit of hobby love for even most obscure players. Ryan Bitter says, Who would you say has the vibes of a trading card salesman, and what does that even mean? So I was listening to one of my go-to Mavs podcasts, Mavs Moneyball, and they were, very upset over a loss. And the host described somebody negatively, and the term he used to insult this person was, he has the vibes of a trading card salesman.
That's like the worst insult, right?
And he wants this person to go all the way away. Okay.
Who do you think of in the hobby when you say, I want that person to go all the way away, and there's your answer?
Well, but why is it an insult, first of all, for somebody to have the vibes of a trading card salesman? And I'll tell you why. It's because people who are not in the hobby, here's their, so if you like sports, but you don't like cards, one of these social media or Google ads is going to get thrown at you. It's going to get targeted to you from time to time because of your demographic information. So the only exposure that hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people, the only exposure they have to our industry are ads, usually, that are just like reeking of multi-level marketing garbage. And it's just like the secrets to investing in sports cards or some other nonsense that just makes our industry look like a total racket, scam, and fraud. And this is primarily the only exposure that these millions of people are having to our industry. And so I said, God, it's gotten so bad, these stupid ads, these stupid products that are being just sprayed out through these Google ad placements and social media ad placements. It's gotten so bad that there's a random Mavericks podcast that I'm listening to is insulting people by calling them trading card salesmen. That is fucking embarrassing to our industry and to the types of people who are trying to create businesses and promote it. And it's not really fair to our industry that we get represented as that, but it just is how it is. So thank you, Ryan, for giving me a platform to explain that. And I don't know who in our industry has the vibes of a trading card salesman. Who cares? That's not the point. The point is our industry looks really dumb to a lot of people because of these stupid, and it's not just the ads either. It's also the YouTube stuff. It's the top 5 investments stuff where people are just browsing and they get a recommended video that hit their algorithm because they like basketball, and then they see some stuff about top 5 investments and they think, oh, this is, look, we've been put on the pedestal of used car salesmen, and it makes me embarrassed when I want to interact with these people who are like doing these Mavs podcasts. They're like, who's this guy? Oh, he's into sports cards, trading card salesman. That was a really weak fart noise.
That's why I love that take, and I love the stories about this. I totally agree, and I'm not going to even try to add anything to it. It's similar to like the whole influencer of the year thing, where it's like, it's embarrassing that this is our representation of the hobby, because this is not what we are. And these are just a few select celebrities that somehow got to be the face of the hobby just because they have more followers and they're more famous than we are. But this is not what the hobby is. That's why the influencer of the year thing really bothered me. Not Mike. Gio actually is in the hobby. Respect to Mike. But like the whole Vegas Dave and Aoki stuff, it's like you're just like celebrities that happen to be investing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, it's an old trick, to do. It's a formulaic marketing gimmick. Top 6, the ad that I took to be like an example that I wanted to point out was top 6 ways to make money in sports. Like, as soon as you got somebody with the corny smile and the ridiculous pose, and they're giving you a top 7 whatever, eventually we all pay the price for these people bringing this style of viral marketing to our industry. Eventually we pay the price. Well, we're paying the price now. This has gone on for 2 or 3 years, and now people equate us to used car salesmen. The damage has been done. So, and I'm embarrassed to interact with these people on Twitter because they're going to look at my profile, they're going to see I'm involved with sports cards, and now I know what they think about us. So, it's very irritating and embarrassing.
This is why when things were all up and right and everyone was all super excited, we just kept hammering home like you actually have to focus on, especially during this time, you have to focus on what you actually care about. Find the niche within this space that keeps you long term. Find the things that you have fun with, that you enjoy, because those one are going to keep you in it long term. It's going to keep you from shilling and keep this like, crazy middle finger grasp from happening, and it's going to give us long-term sustainability, right? Long-term focus, and it also would have prevented what you're talking about right now. So there's just so many reasons that we were talking about that, and like you said, now the check has come and we're paying for it.
We are, and if I have to hear one more time that this viral marketing garbage, that it brought people into the hobby. I've interacted with tens of thousands of people in this hobby over the last however many years. Not one of them credits a YouTube video for bringing them into the hobby. That's not what brings people in. What brings people into the hobby is they discover their old cards, or they see an interesting headline about cards, and then they connect it back from the news or from a big sale, and then they connect it back to their days when they were collecting. None of these influencers are bringing people in. Show me the empirical proof of this. Bring the people to me who will tell you, oh, influencer, sports card, rando influencer brought me into the hobby. Bullshit. Bullshit. Sports card shops, those actually do bring people into the hobby. They provide a service and experience, where influencers on social media are not bringing anybody into the hobby. Show me the people. If you can produce anybody out there, if you can produce people who will stand up and say, yes, I knew nothing about cards, but I came into the hobby because I saw a top 5 investments video on YouTube, show me that person. I'd love to meet that person because they don't exist.
Remember when I posted the story about like person A has 100,000 followers. They make a post about some stupid top 6 influencer garbage, trying to get people to click on it, and it's got 2 comments and 100 likes, and then you with 10,000 followers, 11, whatever you have, posts this is not to be rude to you, a random Christian McCaffrey card.
How dare you?
In the broad spectrum of the world, it's a random card. To you, it's important, but it's the random person that we're talking about, right? It's got like 100 comments and fucking 700 likes. Like, how is that possible? How are these ratios so off? It's because this, like you just said, this stuff it's been proven. The real way to do it is organic enjoyment, not this bullshit like fake clickbaity stuff. It's so obvious. Like, there's your empirical data. Just pick a couple random posts.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so just bring one person to me. And then I'll have an open mind towards it. If anybody out there's listening, bring me a person who will stand up and say, yeah, knew nothing about cards, saw a viral video on social media, and now I'm a collector. Show me that person.
And now I'm a long-term collector?
Yeah. Please. I'd love to see that person, because that isn't how it works. It's a scam, and it's a falsehood that's pushed to try and justify bullshit content and multi-level marketing style content. It's not how it works. The way it works is people already had some knowledge or some tie to cards, and then this content is vying for the attention to suck those people into them first. It's trying to take people who rediscover cards or who develop organically and interested. It's trying to capture them, and then, okay, now that you're into cards, I'm going to suck you into my portal. That's what's happening. What's not happening is people are seeing a viral video and saying, I'm going to start this brand new hobby of cards. There's not a single person that applies to that I've ever seen or heard from.
Preach.
Okay. All right. We got that question got us going. All right.
I thought we each kind of have our own like things that really get us fired up.
Yeah.
They cross over a decent amount, pun, but sometimes we just like cover it all. It's great.
Right. Yeah, that's the one that got me fired up late an hour or two.
Good. I love you. I love when you get fired up.
Yeah,
Let's fucking go.
let's go. All right.
Zion dunk on these motherfuckers. I'm not sitting here trying to be bored.
Indeed. We just windmilled. I just did a windmill.
There you go.
Okay.
And now someone else needs to be, fucking campaign and like, hey, that bothered me. Here's a guy. Shut up, campaign.
I'm
You're a
sure there
backup
will be.
campaign.
Okay, I'm sure there will be. All right. We are coming to the end of hour 2 here, so let me see if we can wind this thing down. BDAWS Cards says, let's discuss the Topps Chrome buyback program and how it can be good for the hobby if it continues. Are you familiar with the Topps Chrome buyback program? I wasn't super familiar with it either because it applies to baseball cards, but I looked it up before the show. Basically, the way it works is if you pull a card, one of the 2 MVPs from the new Topps Chrome product, which is Paul Goldschmidt and Aaron Judge, if you bring it to your card shop, they will, through Topps, redeem that card for store credit. So if you have like a base, it's worth maybe like it's worth like $20 or something, but it goes up to $200. So if you have like a Goldschmidt or an Aaron Judge that's numbered to 99 or less, you get $200 of store credit if you just bring in that card and redeem it.
Question.
Yes.
Store credit towards Topps, or literally store credit, and Topps is giving checks to card shops no matter what people are buying.
I don't know. But to me it's neat because some people take real issue with it because they say this is manipulating the market. This is creating a false market for these cards. It's driving up the value of these cards because if you get one of them, you have a guaranteed payout via a redemption. So some people are worried that this is.
But that money's going back into the hobby at least.
Right. True. So that question did come in, how it can be good for the hobby if it's continued. I don't know. Let's see how it works out. It's clearly incentivizing people to go open these products. It's putting like a little, it's like putting a dollar bill in the products, which I guess, that's kind of what the cards are anyway. I don't know. Haven't thought about it too much.
I always like reward programs or whatever that incentivize you to kind of like, yeah, you're getting paid, but like still you're still being kind of forced to reinvest your money back into that same thing, which I don't see the harm in that. Like, yeah, I go to Chipotle so many times that eventually I'm going to get rewards to like buy more Chipotle. Like it makes sense, like this is similar where it's like you bought a lot of Topps Chrome and you're going to be rewarded by now you're going to get more.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm with you, but I don't, haven't thought about it too much. Haven't really heard all the criticisms of it.
What are they doing with those cards?
I don't know.
Well, someone in the chat said that the credit is for the shop. Res Sports Card says credit to the shops. Then the shops turn the cards to ComC and Topps reimburses.
Oh, I thought you meant like Topps was gonna take all these cards back in and they're gonna have those 2 guys like sign them or something like that. I thought that's what you were going with.
I don't think so. I don't know what they're doing with the cards, but it's just more like putting this little secret free cash in the boxes, basically. If you hit cards of one of the 2 MVPs, bring them into the store, get cashed out.
But it's guaranteeing that Topps or these other companies at the card shops are going to have more revenue coming down their pipe.
Which is a good thing, I think.
But it's not guaranteeing
Exactly.
the money goes to Topps.
No, yeah, no.
Why are you
You're
so
right.
worried? A, we don't know the answer to that, but B, what would be so terrible if Topps was allowing people to spend the money on a 1993 Skybox product in their store instead?
Well, I was just more thinking, what if they buy discounted Panini boxes?
What if?
What if?
Then what?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good plan for Topps.
Yeah, well.
Well, we need more companies thinking about the overall infrastructure of the hobby and not just themselves.
I agree.
I agree as well. You do not agree. You're just making the other point.
No, just because I'm pointing out the flaw of you could be giving money to your competitors does not mean like I'm against the action.
All right,
it's
fair
just
enough.
me like looking for the answers because I've only just heard about this. Stop making fun of me for talking with my hands. I'm Italian.
Fair enough. 610 says Topps used to put literal cash in their
Treasury.
You know,
I remember those.
you know what would be a really cool idea? What if there was a product that was centered around jewelry being embedded in the card?
Ugh, puke. It exists.
Oh, we already have it. Flawless.
Isn't there one where they like put like, I know there is, but I don't remember the name of it. They put like fucking silver and gold bars in there.
Eminence.
Ugh, never mind. Puke.
Yeah, it wasn't only. I think other products may have had that too.
Do we know that this redemption buyback thing doesn't force you to buy Topps products from the store? Like, what if it's like a Topps coupon? Do we even know that for sure?
No, but that was Christina's question as well. We do not know that.
All right, we could be just like arguing about nothing.
We're just making it up as we go, baby.
That's the crossover. That's the caption right there. We make this shit up as we go.
That's society in the year 2022.
That's all experts.
Exactly. All right. Or as
It's
Charles
like-
Barkley said, there's no such thing as experts.
Oh. Don't get me started on that stinking show. They're just like totally making shit up lately. It's getting worse, man. It's totally getting worse on that show. They are not even speaking facts anymore. They're just saying words.
Redemption for Bitcoin. Now you're just trying to trigger us. Now I see what you're doing. It's not gonna work.
It might work. Go.
It's not working.
Replace Bitcoin with Top Shot and it might work.
Let's not. One rant is enough.
This is not a good rant.
Oh, look at this. Nice try, Patriot. Nice try. All right. Let's just call it here. Let's just call it. We got to most of the questions. It's been a good 2 hours.
Are we telling this card shop story in Clubhouse after this? Are we inviting people to that?
Yeah, sure. We can do it on. We can hop on Clubhouse for those who want to hear. Jeremy, I'm sure he wants to hear the card shop story as well.
Oh, JP.
Oh, JGP.
JGP,
Oh, okay.
get
Here we
them,
go.
get
All right,
them.
here we'll
Get
end with.
You gotta do brags.
I do not, actually. We'll do JGP.
Get 'em.
Jose, here's his question. He was very upset.
What's up, Jordan?
He's very upset that this question didn't get asked.
He should be. Let's fucking go. Get his question in there.
It's a big question.
Oh,
We
God.
might need a whole hour for this one. I don't know.
He's like deep dish versus, pan or whatever.
Jose says, who holds more hobby clouds? Degenerate wax rippers or folks that are over leveraged on singles?
Who holds more clout?
Who holds more clout?
I feel like degenerate wax rippers do.
Why?
Thank you.
Why is that? Why is that?
I'm not sure. Like, it's almost like that persona is like more of a purist and can do no wrong, whereas the person who's over leveraged is just like the investor or the guy who's just coming in to make money. Maybe I'm wrong.
They both matter. They both matter. They both they both prop something up that matters.
Pick one.
I got to go with degenerate wax rippers as well because they're earlier in the food chain. If you don't
Ooh,
have
yeah.
degenerate wax rippers, you don't ever get to the guy who gets over leverage on singles.
Not
Somebody has
chicken
to
and
open the
egg.
boxes. Yeah, we know this isn't chicken and the egg. We know which one comes first. It's the degenerate wax rippers. Somebody has to open that damn product to get these singles out. That's what I say.
I concur. It's me. I hold the clout in this society.
There you go.
Yes, you do. I do not disagree.
Have we settled on a name? Do we like cats and poop? Do we like domesticate the chat?
Hey Josh, you left something here at the house.
What?
What?
Leave?
You forgot the Google Nest thing
Oh no, that he
Oh.
earned.
that you.
Fart.
He barely earned it. Let's
He
go.
earned
I influence you to fix it yourself.
Yeah. You were all, I'm going to fix your tech problems, Christina, as soon as I arrive. And then you gave up after like 5 minutes and I had to solve it.
I kind of fixed like 4 other things on the product though.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Pineapple on pizza? As another.
I think my vote is for just the poop emoji.
Just I mean, are we really there?
I know we've done that before.
Are we to the point where we're just naming our
How about like I don't know. For people that like discover this episode, it's got to be something about like a comeback or something because we missed so many weeks.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Orders, that's a good one. Someone said in the chat. Orders.
Card jam.
No. People will think card jail's about something else. Zion Windmill. Yep. I don't mind that.
What about this windmill?
Windmill. This is like when I was in line at,
Yeah.
and this is when I panic and I'm just like, oh my
She's
God.
like, we're out of that. You're like, oh fuck.
Oh, this is awful. I'm panicking.
She's like,
I don't know what
we're out of everything you just said. It was insomnia cookies.
Yeah. It totally shattered my worldview when she was like, we don't have chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, no. How do you run out of chocolate chip cookies?
And they didn't have cones. So like I got screwed twice. First of all, I just wanted cream in a cone. And then
All cream in your cone.
oh, cats and pee-pee poop. That's good.
You like immediately looked at me and you're like, save me. I don't know how to order food without this.
I went to a dark place. Went to a very...
You just wanted cream in a cone. All you wanted was cream, simple cream in a cone. What was that? Cream City Sports Cards? What was that?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's what it was. That's what it was. Yep.
How about just cream in a cone?
Cream in a cone. I'm totally fine with cream in a cone.
Or PP Pineapple Pizza Pessimist?
I like the ones that work in the PPP thing, but like we don't really talk about the.
We didn't talk about it at all.
We don't.
You went over what it was.
We did shed some light on what the Paycheck Protection Program is.
It's too early.
You literally read the Wikipedia.
I did. I thought the Wikipedia opening chunk on PPP was very good. Title: I am an influencer. No. That's no bueno, sir.
I wonder how many people will listen to the podcast after
To hear this part?
Listen to this part and they're just like, and they have ideas.
I could go with cream in a cone just because you have to listen all the way to the very end to figure out why it's called that.
Inside jokes are fun. I'd love to be a part of one day.
I'm still waiting for someone to bring me into one. It's been a long time.
We've got a few. We've got Knott. We've got Derek Jeter. We've got several now. Olivia.
We got Mariano Rivera.
We got Luca.
We got Luca. Yep.
We gotta go to what's that stupid app? Clubhouse. I want to hear this. I want this story to relive in my life.
All right.
State the saying. Just call it inside jokes.
Call it inside jokes? Nah. I like cream in a cone. I'm okay, George, we have to end now because you put that.
Yeah.
That's one
What did you say?
I cannot repeat what that says.
I'm not repeating it.
It's over. All right. Cream in a cone it is. We'll see you guys next week. Are we doing Friday? Hey, can we do what's next week's schedule? Are we Friday or Saturday next week?
It would be our first Friday in like 5 weeks.
Yeah, well, maybe we're not a Friday night show anymore.
I'm good for Friday.
We're just checking here.
Next Friday.
What date is next Friday?
The-
18th.
The 16th.
Oh, 16th.
That's a good one.
The Mavs
JGP.
are playing a Trail
That's funny.
at 7:30.
At 7:30? Yeah, that game will be over by the time crossover starts.
But you won't have time for what?
That's okay. I'll do those beforehand or during.
And then the Nuggets are playing at the Lakers at 9 p.m.
That's all right. Friday night's fine with me. Are you good with Friday night? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Friday night it is. We'll see you guys back on Friday night.
We're reaching the top.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.